Thank you for the opportunity to meet with you today. Talent management typically consists of recruiting, hiring, and developing employees. When employees leave a company, it can be quite costly. There are expenses related to recruiting, onboarding, relocation, training. But what if you could predict which employees have a high chance of leaving? Predicting employee attrition is a new service I propose DDS Analytics offer to its customers. I was given data for 870 employees with 35 different attributes for each employee. These attributes range from demographic data to how satisfied an employee is with their job. Before we dig into predicting employee attrition, I'd like to highlight some trends I noticed related to job roles. The graph on this slide shows attrition by job role. Sales representatives had the highest attrition percentage at 45%. This graph shows age by each job role. What stands out here is a high average age for managers. My concern is that managers are aging out of the workforce, so succession plans should be put in place to ensure smooth transitions for upcoming retirements. Human resource employees and laboratory technicians have the largest discrepancy between men and women. Focus should be placed on ensuring that hiring practices are fair across gender, so audits may need to be performed to ensure that gender discrimination is not happening. The last trend I want to share with respect to job roles is the number of years an employee has been at the current company. 83% of sales representatives have been at the company less than 5 years. Attrition efforts could be focused on sales representatives to make a big impact. But let's move on to predicting attrition. In order to predict attrition, we need to know what variables are correlated with attrition. Job involvement is a key factor here. Of the employees who leave, 47% of them rate job involvement as a 1 or a 2, compared to only 28% of employees who stay. Attrition and marital status appears to be highly correlated. 26% of single employees have left the company, but only 6% of divorced employees. The last variable we'll look at is overtime. There is strong correlation between overtime and attrition, with 32% of employees who work overtime leaving the company, compared to only 10% who do not work overtime. The K nearest neighbors model looks at other observations that are close to the one that you're trying to predict. In the depiction on this slide, the observation the model is trying to predict is the green dot. The 3 closest observations are used to predict what the green dot will be. In this case, 1 blue square and 2 red triangles. Here, the model would predict a red triangle. The variables that ended up best able to predict attrition are overtime, marital status, job involvement, and job role. The model has a sensitivity of 97% and a specificity of 32%. This means that 97% of employees who will not leave are correctly identified, but only 32% of employees who will leave are correctly identified. I wasn't happy with 32% specificity on the K nearest neighbors model, so I moved on to a logistic regression model. I was able to include more employee attributes here. The complete list is on this slide. We'll look more closely at a couple of these now. Job level plays a key role in predicting attrition. 26% of employees at the lowest job level will leave the company. 70% of employees who leave have a level 1 stock option. This represents 26% of all employees who have a level 1 stock option. The number of years an employee has been at the company also has an impact on attrition. This graph shows that employees who have been at the company for 1 year have a 33% attrition rate, compared to the overall attrition rate of 20%. Why are so many 1-year employees leaving? The logistic regression model is similar to a multiple linear regression model, but it predicts the probability of an observation belonging to one group or another. Will the employee leave or not leave? The overall accuracy of this model was 91%, with sensitivity of 97% and specificity of 62%. This is a huge improvement over the K nearest neighbors model, which only had 32% specificity. Before we conclude, I want to show you some analysis I did on monthly income. Can we predict what someone's salary will be based on other attributes? What you're seeing on this slide is a correlation matrix. Correlation measures the strength of the relationship between 2 variables. The variables with the highest correlation to monthly income are job level, total working years, years at the current company, and age. I used a multiple linear regression model for this prediction and was able to account for 91% of the variance in monthly income. To wrap up, in an effort to retain employees, there are several groups that could be targeted to have a big impact. Sales representatives, younger employees, employees at low job levels, employees who have been with the company for 1 year, and employees with low stock option levels. The logistic regression model was able to correctly predict attrition 91% of the time, and I got good predictions for monthly income using multiple linear regression. 91% of the variance in monthly salary could be explained. Thank you for your time.